How tough was that loss on Friday, and are you over it yet?
Without a doubt, still not over it yet. I mean, you get so close, period away from getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. It is a challenging moment. My youngest daughter's 22 years old. Must have taken her 3-4 hours of constant crying. I couldn't console her. I couldn't get her to stop. And, obviously it affects your family and affects yourself when you're that close to have a chance to compete for the big prize. But what we're going to have to do is learn from it and get better and get ready for the next upcoming season.
Do you think the Lightning were the better team?
You don't want to use excuses, but there are facts in this last series, and we were banged up on the back end there. We had both Ryan McDonough and Mark Stahl, who were playing with broken foot, and Dan Giardi, basically our top three defensemen with injuries at any other time of the year. They would have been out for a couple of weeks. So our guys were trying to do the best they could. They tried to play through pain, but with our defense being banged up and the speed and the transition that they had on their top two lines, it just made it very challenging for our group. But our guys gave it their best shot.
So can you go into the offseason, AV, and say, all right, well, if we were healthy, maybe we win the series and maybe we're still playing, or do you believe that something else needs to happen here to take the next step?
No, we're definitely not going to go into that. I'm sure they were banged up also, and they had some injuries and people that were trying to play through some things. We're going to, probably in the next couple of weeks here, a little bit before the amateur draft, our pro scouts and the coaches and management are going to get together, analyze the season, and, figure out where we can get better. And, coming into this season, we had a lot of question marks. We had lost, a lot of key veterans from, Pouliot to Dorsett to Boyle to Carcillo to Brad Richards up front and Anton Strowman on D. We had lost some key components to our team. We felt that we could probably replace them with some good young players. We were hoping that those good young players were going to be able to come in and contribute and do well, and we gave them that opportunity, and they proved us right. So, we're going to look at within our group, within our farm system, to see if there's anybody there that we think can come in and help. And we're also going to look at, at the free agency. We don't have a lot of money left in this cap era, but we might be able to, find a couple of gems like we did, a couple of years ago. We brought in Benoit Pouliot, who was a real good player for us in that big playoff push. So we're going to take a look at the board to see who's out there who might want to become a New York Ranger, and we'll make the best possible decisions to try again to be a good team. But you push the reset button all over again. It's going to be a challenge to get into the playoffs. You look at this year with LA Stanley Cup champions not getting in, Boston President Trophy winner not getting in. Every year is a new season where you got to press the restart button, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to try and get ready for another real good season.
Now, Coach, you're a very intelligent man, so in all likelihood you're not on social media. But
no, I'm not.
Good for you. Now, the thing that Ranger fans were angry about, and I'll throw it out at you, and you can answer. You know what? The Tampa Bay Lightning played the same game they played in Game 5, and the Rangers made no adjustments and couldn't score. What do you say to that?
Well, they did play a very strong defensive game, and the games where we were able to score early and force them to open up, we had a lot of success. In Game 5 and 7, in both those games, there weren't a lot of scoring chances on both sides, and they're right. I mean, we were trying to create some quality chances where we would possibly get that first goal and get things to open up a little bit. But in both those games, we weren't. It wasn't from, a lack of trying or a lack of understanding how important that first goal was. But, you look at their first goal in Game 7. I mean, everybody's there. We've got the numbers. We've got the people on the right side of the play. And that puck just goes through Hank. It's a puck that he would routinely stop, but it just had eyes, and it just went through them, and that was the go-ahead goal that ended up being the goal that permitted them to go to Game 7.
And also, just in watching the game, ice level, being the third announcer for the broadcast here, is that you had moments, but offsides or incomplete passes. Were you surprised that they just seemed to be a bit off offensively?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think our execution as far as quickness and being able to, we knew the pressure that was coming at us. There were certain quick plays that we had to make to get some looks, and the execution to make those quick plays, it was just a little bit off. And when you're a little bit off against such strong competition, then you're not going to be successful. And that's what happened in game 5 and in Game 7. There wasn't a lot separating both those teams, and to tell you the truth, there's not a lot separating teams going into the playoffs. We had to go to Game 5 overtime and Game 7 overtime to beat Washington to go to the conference final. So it's a tough league, and you have to be at your best, and things have to go your way. And for us to have McDonough banged up the way he was, and Stahl banged up the way he was, and Girardi the way he was, I mean, those aren't excuses. It's just facts on how hard it is to get to where you want to go.
2 years in a row, Coach, Rick Nash does not give you in the playoffs what he gave you in the regular season. This year, 42 goals, and he kind of disappeared other than that one game against the Lightning. So the question is this: does his style of play translate into the rougher style of play in the playoffs, or is he becoming the Alex Rodriguez of the Rangers where he's not playing well in big games?
Well, I do know that Nasher, feels the pressure to be a difference maker and to be a guy that can be counted on in these pressure situations. I believe our last 2 runs since I've been here, he's gotten better, and he is going to get better. He's going to get better because he cares and he puts in the time, and he's got a lot of talent. But there's no doubt that he's got to put up the numbers, and he knows that. He's aware of that. He feels that, and hopefully with the great season he had, and he did have some better moments this year in the playoffs than he had in the playoffs of the past, that not only him, but our whole group, like people talk about our window. We've got a young group. I mean, you look at our team and the young players that we put in, and some key young players that are there for their big contributions. I'm talking about McDonough, I'm talking about Stepan, I'm talking about Kreider, Hagelin, et cetera, et cetera. There's a real solid foundation in that group that can be there for a long time, if we can make them the numbers and the money work. But all these guys are growing together, are learning from one another, and you know what? They want to win, and they want to win for New York. They want to win for New York City, and we've been close, and I think these are just great learning experiences, and we're going to get better from them.